Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk in detail and also share the resume that helped me get interview invites from companies like JP Morgan, BCG, Goldman Sachs, Energy, etc. These, as you might know, are very big firms and getting interview invites from these companies is not very easy. By the end of this video, you will have a better understanding of how to draft your resume or make changes in your current resume to increase your chances of getting data science interview invites. So stay tuned. You can also download the Word format using the link in the description below. Okay, so my resume is one page and has 5 different sections: education, skills and certifications, professional experience, data science project, and awards and scholarships. We will go over each in detail and see what their significance is and how they can help you. One tip here is most likely make your resume one page only. If you are not able to include all the information that you think are important in one page, at max make it two, but put all the relevant details regarding the job description on page one, right? Okay, so let's start with the heading and the education section. I have replaced my personal information so that you can just go ahead and put in your information after downloading it from the link in the description. Okay, so your first name plus last name should be here. It should be the biggest font in your resume because think of it as your brand, right? So your name is the brand which you are trying to sell, right? Then comes the location part. So mention your location, then your phone number in the format that, in the country that you are applying for job roles. Make sure it follows the format of that country. So for example, in United States, we have like the first 3 number dash, the second 3 numbers, and then dash, and then last 4 digits, right? Thirdly, have the LinkedIn link, right? So have your LinkedIn account linked directly to your resume. So if you just, when you download this Word format, you just click on it, go here and copy your profile link and paste it here, right? So paste it here, and if you press apply, so whenever a person who is going through this resume clicks on it, he or she will directly land on your LinkedIn page. LinkedIn is very, very important for data science interviews, or for that matter, any interview. Make sure you link it. And finally, your email ID. Don't give out your work email. You don't want, your current company to know that you are actively interviewing outside, because then they might see you as a threat, that a person who is, willing to leave the company and things like that. Always either give out your personal email or your university email. Okay, so coming to the education section, the first thing that you should keep in mind is that don't mention your grade 10, 12th marks, because no one cares, right? If you have done only bachelor's, just write the bachelor's degree. If you have done bachelor's plus master's, like for example, if you see here, in my case, I have done bachelor's and master's, you just mention that. So basically what I'm trying to say is at max write 2 of your latest degree. That's it, right? Let's say if you are doing a bachelor's, master's, and are currently enrolled in PhD, don't write bachelor's, doesn't matter, right? Just write the master's and your PhD degree. There are some degrees where masters and PhD are included in one, so just write your bachelor's degree and your PhD degree, right? Because remember, you only have one page, so most of the relevant information should be kept in one page, and unnecessarily including your 10, 12 marks does not matter, does not add any value. Write the university name, the location of your university, exactly what your master's or your degree is in, what your GPA is, the dates in which you attended the university, as well as the coursework. Don't write every course that you have taken, just write the basic and the most relevant to the job description or the job that you are applying to, right? Also, if you see here, so this university is in India, right? And India follows a 10-point basis scoring of cumulative GPAs, right? In most of the cases. But you should convert your GPAs into the format that you are applying to, right? Because the interviewer or the recruiter, for them, it makes more sense. They are not going to do that conversion in their head, right? So they are just going to assume. So, like if I say 9 out of 10, they are just going to assume, okay, 3.5 out of 4 or something like that, random number. But you should convert that, and there is a link in the description where you can use, which I have used even while I was applying to my master's degree. So it works pretty well and is acceptable. You can use that link to convert your GPA from any country's format to US based format, right? Now, what to do if you don't have any relevant casework, right? For example, in my undergrad, right? So it was in mechanical engineering. So obviously there is no connection to data science. So either you should leave it blank, or if you have one or two outstanding scholarships or achievements, put that, because right in the beginning, it tells the reader that this is a strong candidate. Make sure to convert your GPA as I mentioned already, and follow uniformity in location and dates, right? So for example, in my undergrad, there is no relevant coursework to data science or the positions that I was applying to. So I just mentioned like few of my achievements, some scholarships that I got, and like it works pretty well. Okay, so one tip here is that if you are a new grad or someone within 2 or 3 years of relevant work experience, right? Remember, work experience and relevant work experience are two different things. You might be working as an accountant for 5 years and then you are applying to a data science role. So it is not a relevant work experience, right? So you need to have what I'm trying to say here is that if you have 2 or 3 years of relevant work experience, or you are a new grad, put your education section on the top of your resume, because it's most likely that the person who will read your resume first is going to be a recruiter or someone from the HR. And one of the things that they do is to make sure your profile aligns with the job description. You might have seen, in the job description, preferred qualifications, master's degree with 2 years of work experience. So the purpose of education section is to help them check that box. However, if you are someone with 5 plus, 6 plus, 10 plus years of relevant experience, obviously you would be applying to more senior positions, and in that case, work experience exceeds education by a lot. So in that case, you can even write your education section right at the bottom or before your fourth section, or basically like you don't need to start with your education section. You can start directly with either skills or professional experience. Okay, so now let's move on to the second section, right? Skills and certifications. I have seen that a lot of people put their skills section at the very bottom or the second last. I advise against this, irrespective of whether you are a new grad or someone with 10 years of experience. Because if I ask you, what's the purpose of any interview, right? What is the major purpose of any interview? It is to make sure that you have relevant skill set and experience to do the job, right? Then why not make that visible at the very beginning? Make them see that yes, you have all the skills. Now, if you see, I have divided my skills into different categories, right? Like programming, machine learning algorithms, cloud services, visualizations, tools, certification. And since like this resume is for data science roles, that's why these categories are named in such a way. Now, this serves a very major purpose here. If you follow some articles, on average, a recruiter spends less than 1 minute to go over your resume to shortlist you or either to reject you, right? Now, even if a person doesn't read anything on the right side, right? So like doesn't read anything Python, SQL, Tableau, ClickLens, Snowflake, whatever, right? But in like 2 or 3 seconds goes over all these categories, he or she knows on a very broad level what this person's skill sets are, right? So that is why you need to categorize your skills in different sections, right? Different categories. Another tip here in the skills and certification section is that always make sure to not exclude any specific skill set that is mentioned in the job description. For example, if you give my example, in Goldman Sachs, it was clearly mentioned in the job description that it would be a preferred thing to have if the person who is applying to the job has experience in Snowflake and Air9. And since I have worked on it, I have included it here, right? Snowflake Air9. It's okay to write extra, but don't skip any specific tool, etc. mentioned in job description if you have worked on it, right? Because again, the first person reading this would be a recruiter who would be deciding either to shortlist you or to reject you. And they mostly what they do is, since they are in a very hurry, so they remember few stuff from the job description and they try to see or search in your resume. And if you omit it, even though it won't matter to a very technical person, but to them it matters that okay, you don't have Snowflake experience, job description mentions Snowflake experience, remove this person, let's move to another person, right? Don't do that. Don't give unnecessary opportunities to the recruiter or your HR to reject you. Okay, now let's come through the professional experience section. This is the most important part of your resume, and almost in any interview, at least 50% or more of the questions can be asked to you directly or indirectly corresponding to this. Be it behavioral questions like tell me about a time you had to work in a team, or walk me through one of your projects, etc., to specific technical questions. All this can be answered if you are clever enough. All this can be answered to the professional experience, right? It is one of the most important sections, and so make sure that you spend the most amount of section drafting this section only, right? Because if I give you my example, in the GS interview that I was going through, the person that I was interviewing with was a vice president level person, right? And then that person was very, very fond of one of my projects, like the very first one, right? He was, very interested to know, learn more, etc. So that is the importance and significance. Like it draws attention. If you write this properly, it draws attention of your interviewer, of your recruiter, that okay, this person is doing something amazing, or this person is doing something which not a lot of people do, or I don't see a lot in the resumes that I go through. So this person should be a good candidate to talk to, right? So mention the company name, the location, your full designation, whether it is a full-time, part-time, internship opportunity, and the dates, right? Few things to note here. 2-3 bullet points are more than sufficient to summarize your work. Also, always mention what you did or are you working on, and then either how you did it or why you did it, or a combination of this, right? So if you read through this, right? So I am working on increasing the self-service rate of the customers by highly optimized intent-based routing and minimal breakage to reduce monthly calls to the company one by 500,000 and ensure better experience. Similarly, if you read each and every line of this, it only follows a very specific theme. What I did or what I am doing, and either how I am doing it and or why I am doing it, or a combination of both, right? Always start with an action verb, and you can simply Google action verbs to get a list, right? So if you say working, assessing, developed, assessed, improved, saved, prioritized, led, identified, traced, detected, predicted, right? So this shows that yeah, this person is, in this resume has mentioned the things he or she has done, rather than what this job description was, or instead of writing a story, this person has actually mentioned something he or she has actually done. Also, make sure wherever possible use numbers to quantify your work. Remember, you are applying for data related positions where quantifying your work would be a necessary skill. Plus, it helps make a picture in the interviewer or reader's mind by looking at the numbers, right? Because by giving them the metrics, you are displaying that you know how to define success of a project using different metrics, right? So it is very important. So if you see buy 500,000, or you can write by 5%, like how much you saved, like it gives a picture in the mind, right? Okay, this person saved 150,000, so in Indian rupees it is more than 1 crore, right? So this person being an intern saved more than 1 crore, right, in a 2-month internship. Oh, this sounds cool. Let me invite this person to talk to me. So this is, you see, this is how it works. This is how resumes should be. It should make the reader curious that okay, this person has done something amazing, or this person has been able to attain few things in such a short period of time. Try to make your resume in that way, and it requires work, right? It requires work. You will have to think about it. Another tip here, some of the projects that you might have worked on, you might have conveyed those insights with other teams, senior leadership, etc., to make some actions, right? Make sure to mention them because it is one of the most important skill people look for in a data scientist, and that is the ability to effectively convey your insights to non-technical audience. It is very, very, very important, and I cannot stress this enough. Like, I can't even count the number of interviews where I was asked this specific question, tell me about a time, or how do you convey your insights to non-technical audience, right? Mention that. If you see, I have done the exact same thing, right? Assess, determine, whatever, and propose business recommendations to senior management and cross-functional teams. Saved this by proposing business recommendations and generated additional revenue of $60,000, right? Mention that. It shows that this person knows not only just the technical aspects, but also whatever insights he or she is able to generate, the person is effectively able to communicate. This source, working in the team, working in a environment of cross-functional teams, the person knows how to talk to senior management, etc. So here you are showing the person rather than in interviews you just blabber stuff. Instead of doing that, you just show here, right? So that is more effective. Now coming to section 4, right? So data science projects, right? If you are a recent grad, you are most likely to have these projects. Mention it in your resume. If you are someone with lots of, let's say, relevant work experience, you can either extend your professional experience to include one more company, or you can even put a data science project in your resume. Doesn't matter a lot. But why this place is important, or why this section is important, because it can serve as a multiple purpose tool, right? So first thing, it can demonstrate your project in your recent university, right? So if you are a new grad or a person who only had 1 or 2 years of relevant work experience, so it can demonstrate your projects in the recent university. Secondly, it can also demonstrate your interest in data science by some personal data science project, right? So here, let's say you don't have relevant work experience, but you mentioned a data science project and you want to, you are interviewing for a data science role. So this you can tell, or this shows that even though this person is working as an accountant, this person has done data science project and is able to convey this using the resume, and this person is interested enough, right? Thirdly, it can also demonstrate the bridge between your last job, right? So basically, if you see, I was a pricing analyst, right? So right after I graduated, for the first 8 months, I was a pricing analyst, right? And then I became a senior data scientist. So I used this project to basically demonstrate that I loved pricing analytics, did some project, and finally worked full time, right? Now, for example, some of you might be working in software engineering and want to go into data science. This section can be used to show that bridge that you actually are interested and have worked on something, right? So again, instead of answering questions like why are you trying to switch, or you are working in a software engineering field, why do you want to become a data scientist? So instead of just learning some answers by heart from Google and just blabbering about it in the interview, instead of doing that, if if the person asks you the same question, and you can say, like, as you can see in my resume, I have done a data science project, this, and then you can continue on it. So this shows that, okay, this person has just not read about this stuff, this person has actually done stuff. So that to any person gives a more perspective that, okay, this person is really, really interested. Because otherwise, speaking about different things is one thing, but actually investing your time in it shows that this person has more and more interest into this field, right? So you can basically justify your switch or justify your actions in a better way. Finally, coming to the last section, awards and scholarship. I see that very few people have this on your resume, even though they are recipient of prestigious awards. I would say include that, because it shows that you are a credible worker and excel in what you do. Just think how human thinks, right? If you know a person who has done great in the past, it's more likely, I will assume, that he or she will do great in the current role. And if I hire that person, this person will do great, right? And it encourages people to talk about, right? As they want to learn more about it. Fun fact, when I got my admit from Columbia University, and I went to New Delhi for my F1 visa, right? So the student visa which allows you to enter United States. That person asked me a few questions, and then she was very impressed by this SNBO scholarship. If you see, this is one of the very prestigious scholarships, only given to about 45-50 students in India every year, right? So she was very curious about it. So my interview was not, why are you going to US? What will you do? Like, just like it is asked to every people. But she was more interested in, how did you know about this scholarship? Okay, what did you do in the 3 months that you were in the United States, etc., etc. So you see, it sparks conversation. It sparks curiosity. Remember that. And ultimately, it also serves as a great ending point of conversation, which leaves a mark on the person, right? So recruiter, since this is the last thing the recruiter will see before deciding whether you are going to be shortlisted for an interview or rejected, so he or she will be, oh, okay, so this person has shown excellence in the past, so let's give this person a chance. Or they would be like, okay, let's schedule a 30-minute call. I would like to learn more about you, right? So in that call, even the recruiter or the hiring manager or the HR can ask you, oh, okay, so like, what was this about, etc., etc. So you see, this is how you write a resume. This is how the very basic purpose in your mind should be, how can I spark curiosity in the mind of the reader. That increases your chances of interviews, not only data science interviews, any interview, by a lot. If a person is able to see by your resume that this person, or feels like this person is quite interesting, has done or is doing something unique, or even though it is not unique, this person has that potential where I can invest my 30 minutes or 1 hour of my life with and talk and know more about this person. So that is how you get interviews at any company. So yeah, this was my resume that got me interviews at JP Morgan, BCG Gamma, Goldman Sachs, NRG. Again, just to remind, you can download it from the description below and put in your details. I hope this video was useful. Let me know if you had any similar experience. And yeah, so until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.